Hello and welcome to your daily cup of football.
Thrice. There were 3 days in between.
Daily, if we have nothing else going on, which,
Yes.
as most of all of you probably do, we have stuff going on, but we're back.
Donate money so we don't have to
I
do
think,
this.
in a way, we're leaving people wanting more. So people are like checking their inbox / notifications and are like, darn it, not today, maybe tomorrow. And then when it finally,
We're cracking down on supply to increase demand.
exactly, James.
Okay, I see.
Genius.
Okay.
We're just great
Edit that part
creators.
out. Edit that part out. We don't want them to know that we're doing that.
No,
You edit that in post.
it doesn't matter. They're still gonna.
Okay. You
They're
sure?
still gonna come for the
Okay,
content.
it's confidence. Okay.
But we're here today to recap the end of the group stage of the Euros. Talk about Peru once again. Just being Peru. In
It wouldn't be
Copa
Peru if they
America.
didn't do these things.
Correct. It would not.
They'd be Brazil.
I did not have to. I don't have to retract my apology. They didn't do that bad. So that's what I'll say right now.
Yes.
If you're a Peruvian fan, fast forward to like minute, I don't know, 55.
Fast forward to this time. All right, David, edit in the time.
No, don't do that to me. Okay.
All the fans are waiting.
We're going to start. We did the first three groups all finished by the time we did our last podcast, and we were able to go through the,
Roundup.
I know, I was trying to think of the word for the craziness of the scenarios.
Shenanigans.
Shenanigans.
Permutations.
We're going to start with Group D. If you remember, England and Czech Republic were both through because they had 4 points. And Croatia and Scotland were going to battle it out. A tie for those teams would do them, either of them, no good. It would knock them both out, basically. A win, and you would advance. And I'm pretty sure it kind of went as I said it would go. Not to be, I'm sure.
Yeah, like that was a really big prediction.
Oh, I know, but
I think Croatia's got this one.
Croatia beat Scotland 3-1. Similarly, kind of the same score Switzerland beat Turkey by, and I was like, oh, Croatia's gonna be like Switzerland. Not to like, but anyway, for the podcast people, I patted myself on the back. Anyway, Croatia
for you
won.
audio listeners out there.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember. I believe Croatia scored first. Scotland got a goal right before the end of the half. Well struck by Callum McGregor, great Scottish name.
Which was their biggest mistake. It was the hope that killed them in the end.
Yeah, the fans were really believing, and they were playing a little bit, better at the end of the half. Second half, they had some chances, but Croatia has Luka Modric, who might be his last swan song at the international level. Maybe, I don't know.
One more year, right?
Given that Croatia doesn't have a lot of options, I guess no one's banging on the door to replace Modric. It looks like beautiful outside of the foot shot that kind of killed the vibe in Glasgow. And Croatia goes on to win. Croatia ends up being second in the group because England beat Czech Republic, which lowered.
Because they won by 3. If they had won by 2, I think they would have ended up beneath.
They did win
Czech
by
Republic.
2. It was 3-1. If they had won by 1.
If they had won by 1, they would have finished in third. So
Yeah.
that third goal puts them into second, which
yes,
I don't know, is that good or bad for them?
We'll see. We'll talk about who they play later on. But yeah, England wins 1-0. England, one of 2 teams who have not conceded a goal so far, along with Italy. They've only scored 2. This one was also by Raheem Sterling. He's got both of their goals. He almost scored 2 minutes in with a chip that went off the post. Similarly to Foden hitting the post early against Croatia in their first game. And I think Ian Dark said that England had hit the post a few times, and maybe the team has hit the post the most. I'm not sure. We'll talk more about England when we get to their matchup, because it's a tasty matchup. One of the there's a few good ones in the round of 16, but the one that for England matchup of the round of 16, James.
What do you ask? Is this a test?
Do you think? No.
We'll
get to it later. What
do I think about it?
I was gonna say, was that the best matchup of the round of 16?
Oh, I actually don't know what the other matchups are.
Oh my gosh, James. Okay, that's fine. We'll get to
all of them. I don't know what all of them are.
We'll get to it later.
Yes, David. Yes, it is actually the best
We'll
matchup.
get to it
After
later.
all my analysis.
So England wins the group. Czech Republic goes to third, but they advanced because they had 4 points and a actual positive goal differential, which is a guarantee in this format that you'll go through. The same cannot be said for the third place team in Group E, James. We got Spain against Slovakia, and folks, I was harsh on Spain. Christian Manukian, who appeared on this podcast, went as far as to say I had a get off your lawn moment, a la James, when I said about Spain, how about you just score? How about you just score a goal? Well, Spain was listening. Luis Enrique was blasting this in the dressing room.
Or like
before the game.
Dubravka was listening.
Maybe Slovakia was also listening. Slovakia, well, I don't really know. They, I guess, suck. But I want to give credit to Spain here because we were saying find a way to score goals. And you know what? How they scored? They shot from outside the box, which resulted in a shocking off the bar. Dubravka, the goalie, totally misjudged the flight of it, and instead of punching it over the bar, punched it into his own net. That's a goal. But what did you do? You shot from outside the box. They scored at least 2 goals on set pieces, which is not what you would think is Spain's strong suit. But they were both. One of them was a great set piece play that ended up in a goal. And it all started kind of badly. They missed a penalty. Poor old Alvaro Morata, they made him take the penalty. Maybe he wanted it, but it was a shady penalty. James does not believe it's a penalty. We're not going to get into who kicked who. It was one of those. Check back to the last podcast for a discussion on kicking people if you meant to kick the ball. Anyway, Morata got the penalty. I thought he was going to miss, to be honest, because I was like, it's just not his tournament, I guess. He misses. I don't think did he end up scoring? No, he didn't, right? They got everybody else got a goal.
They subbed him off.
They subbed him off. Luckily, when you score 5 goals, nobody remembers that you missed a penalty kick. Now they've missed 2 penalty kicks. And who knows who's going to take the third.
Tell you, they're going to need penalties at some point in this tournament if they plan on making it past, this next round.
I would say maybe in this next round.
Yeah.
Is likely.
So they're going to have needed somebody else to step up.
Yeah.
Busquets, why isn't he taking the penalty?
You'd think that they'd have the people to make these penalties.
Why didn't they bring Ramos into the squad? He could take
I don't know. Yeah. So that James mentioned that Sergio Ramos, as Ian Dark called him, the talisman of Spain for years. He's a center back, but he's kind of just a legend and a leader and takes the penalties, and he's a good penalty kick taker. And he's not on the squad. He's been dealing with injuries all year. That's the reason. He just came back at the end of the year. But as I think Ian Dark said, seems like he'd be a good guy just to have around when this team. I thought they made changes. They brought in a Cesar Azpilicueta at right back, and they brought in Sergio Busquets, who had COVID, into center midfield, who's a veteran. And I know everything looks better when you win 5-0, but I felt like that maybe calmed things down. Like, okay, Busquets is back. Okay. Because he's never gives the ball away and is another guy that's really underrated. Maybe not anymore, but one of the originals from the 2010 World Cup team. He started. So he had a good game, I thought. But James, Spain now, because now you look at it, everyone's like, oh, I was saying, which I should apologize. They are good. I said, are they any good? They're good. Now you look at their tournament, they're unbeaten, 6 goals for, 1 against. Is this Spain changed, or is it just Slovakia sucks?
I think it's a little bit of both. I think they added more dynamism, is it the right word, to their attack, which is what led to so many goals. And like I said, on the previous 2 games, if they get 1, they can probably start rolling. I think if those other 2 games, if they had gotten a first 10 minutes a goal, they probably would have won those games 5-0 as well. But it just didn't happen in those games. And it did in this one. So I think once the ball gets rolling for Spain, they can roll over all these terrible teams. I think we probably saw the most dominant performance over 90 minutes from anyone. I mean, it was Slovakia, but still. A lot of big teams have struggled against teams that just sit back. That's been a theme for most of the big teams, except for Italy. It's been the only other one, and Belgium. But so there's something to be said for that. But I think there's still a lot of question marks. I'd say if you're talking about winning the whole thing, at the back, I think Slovakia was through 3 times. Now, twice they were offside. 1 time they weren't, and he just missed.
Mm-hmm.
So a smarter player would have held his run a little bit better, and a better player would have scored those chances. So I think against a team that likes to sit back and counter, like a France, Belgium can do that. All the Portugal, it's going to be an issue. You're going to want to. I don't know what you're supposed to do. it's a tough situation because you want to play possession, you want to hold 70% of the ball, you want to make 900 passes. But what are you going to do when you lose the ball?
Yeah, they play a really high line. So I guess the adjustment would be not to play as high, which allows teams to play out more because they try to like win the ball back in that team's own half, which is, you know, if you press a bad team, it could work. If a team's good enough to play out of it, then you're in trouble. I
I
will
just
say
don't think they're going to change,
probably not. They haven't changed, and
and they're going to get punished for it, and they're not going to make it.
to this point, they can say that it worked because they made it through, and they didn't win the group because they tied Sweden, and Sweden beat they beat Poland, who Spain tied. That's why. So Poland, that game was actually kind of exciting. I didn't watch it because I was watching Spain, but Poland had a fight back. They were down 2-0 to Sweden through Emil Forsberg, who has 3 goals in this tournament.
Finally showing up.
Yeah, but Lewandowski, after missing an unbelievable sitter, I think I can say, scored 2 goals to get them back. But then they were pushing because they had to win. Poland had to win. Sweden picked them off on the break through Klassen, I think, Victor Klassen. So Sweden won the group, and yes,
they did this in the World Cup too, though, didn't they? They won the group. They won their World Cup
they did win the group
because they smashed Mexico in their last game,
yeah,
and they just gone because they suck.
Well, I know you don't
loud?
know the matchups, but I have a feeling they're gonna stick around.
Oh wait, no, I know who they're playing.
Don't say. Even though I almost flashed the bracket right there.
I think I know who they're playing. Okay,
we'll talk about it later. So, and one more thing on Spain, to the point about passes. I looked at the stats after the Slovakia game. I believe the accurate passes was around like 530 as opposed to like 800 in the Sweden game where they didn't, and I get the game is different. And they were, like you said, they played more direct, and that would lead to fewer.
And they subbed on Adama.
They did.
Nice to see his oiled up presence.
Yeah. I mean, he's not a bad option. I mean, if you want to change the game, I don't know. I definitely think Busquets back helped. And I think Cesar Azpilicueta is a solid option at right back. I mean, he played in some good crosses, and so I don't know. We'll see. Their next matchup will be interesting, how they handle this next team, because I would say, I know we're leaving if you're listening, you probably already know who they're playing, but if you don't, I like how we're teasing this. But
so people who are watching don't know who they're playing, or they still count among the people that are listening.
Listening, watching, whatever.
So people who don't.
If you're watching, you're listening, unless you have it on mute. And you're watching and not listening.
But people who aren't listening don't know that you asked the question.
True.
They don't even have a chance.
What a great point,
Give them
James.
a chance.
We'll talk about who Spain's playing
later. Is that another game show later? Who's playing who?
Yeah, maybe we'll do that, James.
Okay, yeah.
Good idea.
Yeah.
Although I don't know what you don't.
I know some of them.
I'll do like true or false, maybe.
Okay.
We're probably not gonna do that. We have other games planned.
Yeah, but okay. we're breezing through right now.
We're gonna move on to the group of death, which probably had the most complicated permutations because there were 2 ties, which I think were surprising. Especially Germany tied Hungary 2-2, and Germany looked like they were heading toward a repeat of 2018, where they get to the final game against a weak opponent and they somehow lose. But this time they found the goal. Somehow, some way, they found the goal through Leon Goretzka, one of James's favorites, I would say, probably from Bayern, right? He's a good player.
Yeah.
He's bulky.
Yeah, he's got big arms.
He thumped it in off of took a deflection. Keeper couldn't save it. Keeper for Hungary kind of let them down, to be honest. He made a mess of the first goal that Kai Havertz got. But Hungary, I'm not sure where they got it. I guess this also shows Germany's frailties, maybe, as a defensive unit. We saw them leak goals against Portugal and lose. They haven't got a clean sheet yet. Germany, that's probably going to be an issue.
Yeah.
But Germany found a way. They needed to tie. When they were tied, Portugal was losing. When Germany, at the first time it was tied, I believe, Portugal was losing to France. And if that had stayed the same, Portugal would have been out. Portugal got their goals through penalties. And
Penaldo.
I was going to say the nickname for Ronaldo, Penaldo, really is pretty accurate. He's got 5. He's the leading goal scorer in this tournament with 5.
3 penalties, right?
3 of them are penalties. So the first one was pretty clear cut. The guy got punched in the face by Hugo Lloris.
Good lower
I mean, it was a
Cut with
good
the-
sucker. I mean, it was a good.
And he hit him with his elbow afterwards.
It was rough. It was a bad one.
I think it was because I think it was he didn't. I don't think he wanted to punch Pereira in the face. So I think
No, I
he
don't
tried
know.
to move his arm out of the way, and in doing so, he punched him in the face and then hit him with his elbow.
So he did exactly what he was meaning not to do.
I
Yeah.
think so.
I mean,
That's-
yeah, he
that's the way
wasn't
I see
trying to
it.
hurt him, but so France ties another game. They win the group with 5 points, which in this tough group, I guess, isn't like that bad, but they haven't looked great. I will say Paul Pogba has been picking amazing passes, setting up Benzema, who that was a good goal to start the second half to put them up 2-1. He scored. France got a penalty at the end of the half to tie it. He got both their goals, so he gets off the mark in his return to the national team. It seems like France doesn't have to play well and they'll be in all these games just because they have like a ridiculous amount of talent. And they'll just be, I don't know who's going to be able to knock them
That's
out.
kind of what they did in the World Cup.
Like you think like, oh, they could play better. Like, but then they just have like flashes of like just brilliance and then they end up getting through. Now, would I have liked them to beat Portugal? Yeah, but they didn't really need to. So are you, where do you feel of France after 3 games?
You know what? They haven't lost a game. They
True.
haven't lost a game yet. So I mean, they weren't rolling over teams like maybe I don't know. Maybe I don't know if I really thought that was going to happen. I thought it'd be close, but I did expect them to win or be a little more convincing. But I don't know. They got it done, and that's what they did in the World Cup too. I mean, if I recall correctly, like they almost threw it away against Argentina in the round of 16. And then who did they play in the quarterfinals? Was it Portugal or Uruguay, right?
I think it was Uruguay.
I don't remember them rolling
Yeah.
Uruguay over. And then they barely beat Belgium, basically by parking the bus. And then they got a nice, easy final against Croatia. So
Are they still your pick to win?
yes. Not by as much, though. I'm not as convinced.
I will say we're not giving away all the matchups yet, but Italy and France are on the same side of the bracket. Just going to say that.
Why is that supposed to be? Why that matchup?
Meaning that, well, Italy's been. Have they been the best team, James? I don't know. That's a good segue.
Okay.
Because we've reached the time.
So we're not going to talk
show.
about controversial penalty decisions.
I don't
have the time.
I don't have the energy to get into it.
It's tiring because it happens every day.
I mean, like, we were doing well in terms of the VAR, like working, I think. And then this last kind of few days, it kind of went back to kind of the bad things that have been happening or things that people criticize about it. I will say that.
But by the way, I figured out what clear and obvious means.
What?
Ready? It just means that a clear and obvious error is one where the defender doesn't even touch them. So if there's any contact at all, it's not a clear and obvious error.
Yeah.
So that seems to be the line. Which
I will
is
say
ridiculous, of course, but
in the realm of these calls, penalty kicks have not been converted well at all, which kind of makes up for some of these calls in a way.
it doesn't. No.
Well, the goals aren't the penalty, like the bad call doesn't result in a goal.
It's about sending a message.
Okay, James. I believe when Morata missed, it was like 5 of 11 or 6 of 11. Now, Ronaldo hit both his penalties. Benzema hit his penalty, so that changes the average, but
Still not good.
it's kind of strange. I don't know.
Something about the air. The European air is just.
Does it have to do with fans?
What? Wait,
Fans being there?
or
More
not
pressure?
being there. Wait,
Or
what?
being there. There's
Yeah, but there are fans at all previous tournaments.
I'm saying this in the last year, these players have been playing games. Most of them have been behind closed doors.
Yeah, but they've been playing most of their careers with fans.
I know, but I'm saying recently. That's all.
I don't know. I'm not a.
We'll
I'm
see
not
how
well versed enough.
the first penalty shootout goes.
Oh, yeah, 0. They're just all missing.
We'll see.
Steps up to David De Gea, takes the last penalty, scores
so
for
why
Spain.
did you do that? Why did you have to do that? That was the opposite penalty shootout. Everybody made it except him. And his punishment for that is sitting on the Spanish bench, never to see the
Behind
field.
some random man that plays for Athletic Bilbao.
Unai Simon. I mean,
Who's doing a decent job.
he's doing fine.
Yeah.
I don't have any fear when the ball goes back to him like I do with David De Gea. Anyway.
Well, you're not a fan like you are of Man U. So.
Yeah, that's true. All right. We're going to go to the categories.
Game show time.
Which it's not really a game show. I mean, there's no technically right answer. You can play at home,
The
people.
prize is we get to end the recording if I get it right.
Okay, sure. This will kind of play into our recap of the end of the group stage before we get into the matchups on Saturday, because today there were no games. Tomorrow there's no games. Saturday there's 2 games. So here we go, James. Ready? We kind of
Yes.
talked about this, but for the people at home, they don't know that we talked about it.
They weren't there when we were talking about it.
Yeah, that's true.
I
So
was
the
in the
first
corner of my
category, there's
bedroom.
4 teams in each of these categories. The
Or
first
players.
category,
Or players.
or players, right? First category. This award goes to the team that racked up the most valuable air miles, meaning they were just here for the air miles, the points, if you're depending on your airline of choice. One of these countries has its own airline. So we'll see if they made the most of it. Here are the nominees, James. Turkey, who got 0 points, one of 2 teams to get no points at all. They scored 1 goal, conceded 8. Many people were saying they are a dark horse. I looked at their record against big teams and was like, "Ooh, maybe Turkey." They were bad. Okay, that's 1.
They are a dark horse. They're like that horse you're trying to find him at night and you can't find him.
Next
is he?
team,
Where's my horse?
North Macedonia. James predicted they would make it out of the group stage.
Dang it.
What?
I believed.
Yeah.
My predictions are never right.
They also 0 points. They scored 2 goals, conceded 8. Bottom of Group C.
So good.
Next team. This might be harsh. Scotland.
What
Okay.
about Slovakia? I mean, I guess because
Slovakia got a win.
Okay,
They gotta
scored
win.
2 goals. Okay.
They got a win. And yeah, they had to come.
Scotland got
yeah.
1 goal.
Scotland got 1 goal, but it was a beautiful one, and I'm glad they got it. We were like, come on, just get one to have one moment of good feelings. And the shots of the crowd and the Scottish people going crazy was that's all they could take with them, and airline miles, even though all their games were at home, which means they didn't get that many air miles. Anyway, they got 1 goal, 5 against, 1 point. They tied England.
See in 25 years.
Oh, come on. They might be back. We'll see
Uh-huh.
them in a year and a half, maybe,
Yeah, sure.
at the World Cup.
For them to get knocked out again.
Yeah, with
in
1
the round
point.
in the
They
group
still
stage?
have not won more than 2 games at a major tournament. The drought goes on.
Yeah.
The final
Impressive.
team, this was a nominee from James. I put Poland in there because I just disliked them, and I wanted them to get out of the tournament after 1 game. But they showed some fight, and basically just Lewandowski. So James nominated Finland to be the air mile team. They got their 1 win with 1 goal against Denmark in a game that was marred by horrible, horrible things. And then they lost to Russia and lost to Belgium. They scored 1 goal, conceded 3. They did get 3 points, but they bow out. As a 3rd place team, they are one of 2 3rd place teams that did not make it, along with Slovakia.
Oh.
So James, who gets the award for air miles in this tournament?
Okay. Well, this is a tough one. Because Finland are the worst team in this tournament. Hands down. They are the worst team. They've happened to fall backwards into 3 points. But because of the 3 points, I have to admit that I think North Macedonia is the Air
Ooh,
Miles team.
That hurts.
I'm sorry, boys. I believed in you. And you failed me miserably.
Believed on them based off nothing.
Based off nothing, like most of my predictions. All good predictions should be based off nothing, right? Otherwise, it wouldn't really be a prediction. I just know, right?
What? Okay.
That's not how that works.
Oh man.
Yeah, so they had some spunk at times, but not enough spunk at not the right time. And they conceded way too many goals all
True.
the time.
North Macedonia. Congratulations.
All right, North Macedonia. Have a nice plane ride home.
Yeah. With more miles.
See you in 25 years.
I'm changing the order that I said them to you so we can build up to the one that I'm looking forward to the most. So
Okay.
the next category. This is a deep reference. The "Are you still living?" category. This is just old
Wait,
shame.
if you if you
No,
know what this is a reference to, put it in the comments.
Okay, but I just wanted to say this is just basically shaming old people.
Yes,
Basically,
this is elder bashing.
No, actually, we're celebrating the that these older players are still playing at the international level.
The wealth of experience that this tournament brought.
Yeah,
Wow,
of course.
great.
2 of these players' teams were in the air miles category, but who cares? Okay, James, the nominees are Marek Hamšík, who I believed wasn't even in the team after looking at some pre-match lineups. But there he was with his mohawk being, I
Still
guess,
pretending he's 22.
but guess he was good. No, not really. He made one crossfield pass against Spain. I was like, oh, Hamšík. And then his team capitulated.
This is all dissolved. Yes.
Dissolved into nothingness. Next player, Martin, is it Martin Stecklenburg, who's the goalie for Netherlands, was also the goalie for Netherlands in the 2010 final of the World Cup. I believe he's the only player on that field, maybe in that squad, who was
Wijnaldum?
there, except for no, not Wijnaldum. I don't think in 2010.
Mm.
So Martin
Van
Stecklenburg.
Bronckhorst, is he there? Van Bronckhorst?
He's not in the squad. He's like in the box. He's in the
Van der
VIP
Vaart,
box.
is he there? Van der Vaart?
No,
No. Okay.
I don't think so.
Okay.
And Stecklenburg's only conceded 2 goals, both to Ukraine. Okay. Goran Pandev literally is retired now. He stopped playing soccer after this. They clapped him off, and that was the end of his international career. He scored 1 goal. He had 1 beautiful disallowed goal for Macedonia. He's out of here. The last one, which I think should be the winner, just based on the reaction James had when I told the age of this player, Pepe, the Portuguese center back, who is 38 years old. James was like, he's like 32. He was 32 in 2014 when he was still playing. So Pepe, who is leading the back line for a Portuguese team that shipped 6 goals, conceded the most goals in that group other than tied with Hungary. So, okay, James, who's your winner? Are you still living? And I didn't really say if it's best or your favorite.
Yeah, there's no
for interpretation.
Okay, look.
When I say, are you still living? Who comes to mind?
Okay,
first?
look. So let me just. Stecklenburg is not him. Okay, so he wins the award of. Is there no one else? That's his award.
Yes.
There you go. That's what he wins. Pepe, I didn't think he was old. So how does he count as are you still living? He's like, oh, he's so old. He wins that. Wow, really? You're that old?
Whoa.
That's how old you are. Okay.
Yeah.
Hamšík is, I think it's between Hamšík and Pandev in my mind. I mean, Hamšík has been playing for a long time. Pandev, I played with him in the 2010 World Cup game.
The video game, yeah.
The video game, yeah.
And he dominated you there, right?
Yes, he did. He was very good. Yeah.
Single-handedly knocking Armenia's video game version of itself out of multiple World Cup qualifiers.
Don't bring back bad memories.
This one,
and it's because of the connection with the game that I'm gonna have to go with Pandev. I can't believe he's still playing. Hamšík, I didn't think was that old either, so I'm gonna go with Pandev.
If I had to pick, it'd be Hamšík because I thought he was done, and I thought I was like.
I knew that Hamšík was still playing. So I did not know Pandev was still playing.
Speaking of knowing things about players and current teams, the next category is also kind of, we'll see if James, not mean. Oh. No, it's not mean. These players stood out because they were doing well. And I asked the question, who's that? Except for one of these players who I knew, and James was like, what? Here are the nominees. And he removed one of my nominees. Honorable mention, Denzel Dumfries, who I did not know and has been tearing it up on the right flank. Anyway, sorry, Denzel. James replaced you. Okay, here are the nominees. Okay. Kiefer Moore, the biggest head on the British Isles, heading everything in his path for Wales. Cardiff City man, who just heads everything in a league where heading is everything in the championship. I like Kiefer Moore. Hopefully, we don't see the last of him after this round, except we probably will. Okay. Robin Gosens, who single-handedly jump-started the German attack after they were looking for goals. He said, I believe Muller made a bad joke in the press conference. Gosens, he's good for a bad pun. Thomas Muller.
Yes.
The next one, Roman Yaremchuk, the backheel god. There was one backheel attempt against Austria that went off so badly, and when that happened, I said, "This is it. They're done." I mean, they don't have their back heels. They don't have any.
If they don't have their back heels, what do they have?
Nothing. Roman Yaremchuk. Finally, just for James, the GQ model himself, Patrick Schick, held scoreless by England. Scored the goal
He
of
was
the
only
tournament.
he was only using 20% of his power.
The goal of the tournament. That's
Yeah,
undisputed.
far.
I don't think there will be a better one than that.
Just wait. Wait for what he's got planned in the round of 16.
What he's got planned for his next trick. Patrick Schick, who I knew about. James said, who's that? Okay, James. Is that the answer, Patrick Schick? Or who is it?
It's between him and Keither Moore. Because Goossens, I'd already known about him. I'd watched him in the Champions League, so I knew he was playing.
Yeah,
for
Atalanta, yeah. Kiefer Moore's
I've
a
already
good one.
forgotten who the other person was.
Yaremchuk.
Oh, yeah, he was. If he had made a backfield goal, maybe I would have thought about it. But after that horrible performance, no back heels completed. He's out. So I love Schick, but I think I may not have heard of Schick, but he does play in the Bundesliga.
Yeah.
Whereas Kiefer Moore is just a man
He's just a man.
that plays for Cardiff on the weekends. So I'm gonna go with Mr. Big Head himself,
Yeah.
Kiefer Moore.
So, yeah. This joke has been made before with big heads, but things orbit Kiefer Moore's head.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Gravitational pull.
Yeah, gravitational pull. The ball is just sucked onto it and he just heads it in. Okay, James, 2 more categories left. I gotta decide which one I want to do last. Okay. We're gonna do the next one. We're gonna do is best team.
Best team.
Best team. Okay. Different than in the next category. That if you guys are paying attention at home, you'll know. Okay. Best team. The nominees for this. I put the 3 teams that got 9 points: Italy, Netherlands, Belgium, and I put France in there because they're the defending world champions, and we both picked them to win the tournament. So, who is the best team right now, James?
Yes, based on the performances we've seen over these 3 games, not based on their squads. Correct. So because of that, it's not France. Even though I still think they might be favorites to win the whole thing, they have not been the best team over these past 3 games. And it's not the Netherlands either, because they had a little slippy against Ukraine. So not them either. So it's down to Italy and Belgium, and I think Belgium edges it just because they played a tougher team. They had one tougher game. I don't think Italy had a tough game. I think Belgium had a tough game against Denmark, and they turned it around and got the 3 points, which was a great performance from Belgium. So it's going to be Belgium.
And there was Belgium also came back to win, and there've only been, I think, 2 comeback wins in this. They were saying the team that scores first is like 2. The team against them is like 26-3 or something like that. 26 losses. So Belgium came back and won after going down, which
Germany did too.
Germany's the other one. Germany and against Portugal, right? Yeah, Portugal. Okay, so this is the category we've all been waiting for. Now, James kind of gave it away in the last podcast where I asked him who's the maybe not the last podcast, but a couple podcasts ago, most impressive. He picked Czech Republic as most impressive. As we said, go back and hear the explanation, but based on expectations, compare that to how they did. So here are the nominees after we've played 3 games, James, for most impressive team. Czech Republic, just because you name checked them. Italy, Denmark, Wales.
Yeah. Okay. This is a big decision. This is very important.
So I've made it last because I was so excited about it.
So I'm just going to get it out right now. It's not the Czech Republic, unfortunately. In the last game, if they had come out and beaten England, I would have just blurted it out before you even gave out the options. But they did probably the smarter thing and just kind of cruised into the next round instead of really pushing for it. So not them. And it's really not Wales either because I don't know, they lost. So it's definitely between Denmark and Italy. I think Denmark had they've gone through, I don't know what to call it, not good things. And they came out with a credible, I've already talked about the performance against Belgium. And then their most recent game against Russia, that was a tough game. I mean, they were playing a team that was playing just 11 behind the ball, which we've seen so many teams struggle with. And not only did they get goals, they also came back from a second being pegged back from the penalty. Other teams may have just kind of folded, like Netherlands did. So to come back from that was pretty impressive. but I think it's Italy in the end because what does it say? 3 games, no goals conceded. They just been lights out. So
Yep.
I think it's gonna have to be Italy, which
All right.
which is just a testament to how well they've been doing because I usually don't pick good team like
Yeah.
traditionally good teams for this whole most impressive thing. So yeah, it's Italy.
All right. Speaking of Italy, James,
You can
they
ask me
play
who
on
they're playing.
Saturday. They play on Saturday. Okay, yeah. We'll do that game,
I
I
think I
guess.
know who they're playing. No, I think I
Who
know.
are they playing, James?
They are playing Austria,
They are
right?
playing Austria.
Okay, yes. Okay.
Austria made it actually in second place because they beat Ukraine. Ukraine does make it as a third place team. They are hanging on to the edge, but they make it because Finland and Slovakia have worse goal differentials, basically. That's why. So don't lose by many goals. That's the
Do I guess who
moral of
they're
that
playing
story.
too?
Sure.
we guessing all of them?
Who's Ukraine playing?
I think they're playing Sweden,
You're
right?
correct. They don't play
Unstoppable.
Sweden until the 29th, which I think that's Tuesday.
Wow.
That Tuesday?
Okay. I guess.
So Saturday, round of 16 starts. 2 games. One of them is Italy, Austria. But before that, this one might be the best game. We'll see how the games actually like play out. But this could be a good game. Wales takes on Denmark. Now, both teams were in our most impressive category. And Denmark was in the final 2 for James. Denmark will be playing this game. I believe it's in Amsterdam, Netherlands, where
It's near Denmark.
Nearby, and also Christian Eriksen played for Ajax for a few years and is a very popular figure there. So you'd think this will be a pro. I think it'd be a pro Denmark crowd, regardless. Even more so now. Wales, it's a tough draw. I think they did well to get through in second, and it's a better matchup than like if they played Belgium in this round, obviously. But I think Denmark is on a high right now and is very confident. And they'll look at this matchup and say, yeah, we can have Wales. I mean, we played Belgium off the park for 40 minutes and almost got a result there. I think Wales is better than Russia and Finland. I think it's an interesting game. I don't really know. I think Denmark's going to go through, but I don't want either team to be eliminated. That's what's sad. One Kiefer
Can we
Moore
get rid of
might go
Sweden?
out. I know. Sweden, Ukraine. I hope they both could go out, but they can't. That's not how this works. I think it'll be a good game, James. What do you think about Denmark and Wales?
Yeah, pretty much the same thing. Leaning towards Denmark, but I don't think it's going to be straightforward. I don't think it's going to be like a 2-0. I think Wales are going to score. They're going to throw a spanner in the works, maybe even go to extra time, maybe even penalties. But I think in the end, Denmark just has enough to edge over because isn't the quarterfinal going to be in Copenhagen?
Oh,
I
that's a good
believe
question,
they said
James.
that. I think they
Did
said
say
that. I don't know if that's still
Let's
the case
see.
because
Let's
there's
see.
been so many changes.
Well, they play the winner. I don't have that in front of me, actually.
Oh well.
Sorry.
I'd heard from a broadcast person that
I'm sure you're right. Well, in
Taylor
that case,
Twellman or something.
that's a very big incentive for Denmark.
Yeah, so I'm leaning towards Denmark, but I think Wales will put up a valiant performance.
Seems like the key to stopping Wales is just don't let Aaron Ramsey run the game because he's the one who has been involved in everything. And Bale, obviously, but Bale's been fluffing his lines when he's gotten good chances. So it seems like Ramsey is the one. And even he misses chances. But I guess Kiefer Moore is going to start this game. He didn't start against Italy. He'll be battling up against Simon Kjær. I realized, James, why the 6'7" guy you thought played left back. It's because they play 3 at the back. So he's playing left-sided center back.
No, it's actually because he plays left back for Southampton, which is his club team.
But
That's
for
why
Denmark,
I thought he played left back.
He's in the Tim Ream role, where you put a big left-footed center back.
That should not be a role.
I'm just saying he did Tim Ream didn't even do that against like how we did against Belgium. Just saying.
You're right. He's better than Vestergaard. Not.
Nah, yeah, probably not. Because they have a wing back. Anyway, the next game, this one I think should be more straightforward. I think it'll still be a good game because Italy is involved, and Italy has provided good games. They're fun to watch. They're not boring. They play with flair. They play attacking soccer. I hope they win. Austria, I was kind of just done with before we even started this tournament. They took advantage of Ukraine, completely falling off the face of the earth. I think Italy should win this game. They get a good draw. I mean, this is the reason you win a group is to get this kind of round of 16 game where you can just kind of, we should win this game. I'm not saying Austria is the weakest team left, but if you're Italy, this is a good draw, right? I mean, you don't see any other result than Italy cruising through, right?
Yeah, not as if things go the way that they have been. I mean, we saw Austria kind of just fall apart. They didn't really do anything at all against Netherlands, and I think Italy's probably a little better than the Netherlands. So I think we should be looking at another 2-0, 3-0 win here from Italy.
Their streak goes on of not conceding, which is incredible. And it probably, I mean, if it does again, you wouldn't be that surprised, but it's still an impressive feat. Also, just because of the randomness sometimes of soccer and random things happening, and you concede a goal. So
Yeah, a penalty.
Chiellini was
There's the whole
sorry.
thing.
What'd you say?
Just a penalty. Like
True.
you could get a cheese penalty, but it hasn't happened. So maybe it'll happen on Saturday. Tune in.
I hope it doesn't. I hope Austria goes out so we can have good teams making it. So those are the two games on Saturday, 9 a.m. Pacific and noon Pacific. But there's going to be games from Saturday till we're out of round of 16 games. So Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. Some of the matchups, we'll talk about them more when we get there, but some of the tastier matchups. Belgium, their reward for winning the group is Portugal, who finished third. That was always going to happen. A good third place team was going to come out of that group. It was just who's going to get them. Belgium. That one, circle the calendars. I think that circle the date. That's going to be a good one.
What day is that?
That's on Sunday.
Oh, yes.
High noon on Sunday. I'm probably going to be on ABC. Another good one, England, Germany. Now, this isn't your England's, your mother's England, even your mother's Germany, because Germany is not the Germany of old, and England might not be the England of old, but Germany might still get through. I don't know. We'll talk about that more, James. But
and that's on Sunday.
That's on no. That's on Tuesday.
Oh, they wouldn't pack them both on Sunday.
No.
Yeah,
they're pretty much whoever would play other than the first day. Who are two matchups on two different sides of the bracket. Everything else, actually, I lied. Never mind.
Move on. Okay.
Because
moving swiftly onwards. Okay.
Yeah, let's move on. Although Croatia, Spain, that was the other one I was going to say. Croatia, Spain could have been a quarterfinal if Spain had gotten through Russia in the World Cup. Now we get to see it here. Spain, this will be the test. Obviously, we've been talking about them, but if they can get through Croatia, who is a more solid team than Slovakia, obviously, that'll be interesting. So those games are coming up, and we should have a podcast throughout those games.
Except Tuesday.
Maybe not Tuesday. Maybe we'll have to. I don't know, James. Maybe I don't know. We'll see. But we'll be back on Saturday for Euros. But before we go, James, Peru played a Copa America game. It was against Ecuador. Everybody in CONMEBOL is a rival. Everybody. You play everybody so much that's like there aren't a game where you're like, what's going on with these guys? We haven't played them in a while. Ecuador, I feel like we play them all the time in some big games. This one started off badly. Ecuador was up 2-0 at halftime. And they scored one, I believe, right at the end of the first half, which is not when you want to concede a goal. But Peru, within 10 minutes of the second half, had equalized. Goals from Lapadula, Gianluca Lapadula, who gets his first goal for Peru and is actually turning into a reliable striker. I mean, that's pretty impressive.
And he makes the defenders just fall over. I don't know how he does it.
That was great. That was on the second goal. I believe he turned some Ecuadorian guy fell on his butt. I'm not sure how that happened.
It might have been the same guy that he turned on his butt in the World Cup qualifier.
And then he slipped in on Carrillo, who scored. And then Peru had chances to win. Mainly Yotun had the gilt-edged chance near the end. Didn't score.
Not the guy you wanted to fall to.
Not true.
Because he's not a goal scorer. That was perfectly set up for Lapadula.
But then Peru was inviting some pressure at the end. Ecuador had chances, almost had a penalty. The Ecuador coach really wanted a penalty on the last. Did you see that last penalty?
I don't think so.
Basically, I think it was Tapia or somebody, as the attacker was cutting back, his hand was like on the attacker's face. And I was shocked they didn't give it because the ref waited forever. Waiting.
Yeah, the VAR in this tournament is just ridiculous.
Takes forever. And it's. So Peru gets a tie. It's not ideal, but like they have done multiple times. They showed fight back. They've done this against Ecuador, I believe, before another game. Like they've been literally down 2-0 and then they come back and tie.
And they've thrown 2-goal leads.
They've done that too. They play Venezuela in the last game, who is now, as it stands, the team that would be knocked out. To advance, Peru just needs a tie. If they win, they could be second in the group, which theoretically gives them a good matchup in the third game, or in the quarterfinal. How do you feel about, obviously this game you didn't watch as closely and it wasn't as important as the Colombia game, but they got a result, which is good. But how do you feel going into Venezuela, who has had issues with COVID? And
they should beat Venezuela, the so-called darlings of the tournament, according to Fox's broadcast. They always should beat Venezuela every time, and they rarely do. So I think we're going to see a draw, 1-1.
Yeah, I mean, technically, because Colombia is done playing, and Colombia lost to Brazil late on after taking
very
the lead,
late, very, very late,
like
100th
the
minute.
100th minute. Yeah,
no extra time.
A little, yeah. Brazil, maybe they get some calls. I don't know. We'll see. They win all their games. Oh, they still have Ecuador, but if Peru ties, they will go to 5 points and they would pass Colombia, who has 4 right now because Colombia lost and Peru beat Colombia. So that was a big win. So I think it's set up nicely for Peru. My worry kind of is like fitness in terms of like how many games they're playing and like the conditions. I'm guessing it's warmer. It seems like it is. They're taking like cooling breaks, aren't they?
I think they're capable of dealing with the weather.
I don't know. Peru just tends to pull out the same lineup every game without much rotation. We'll see if he does in this one.
That's true. Yeah.
Because when you get to the knockout stages, there's going to be at least one extra time.
Wait, is there a scenario where they don't make it out of the group?
If they lose, and if they lose,
and so does and Ecuador wins.
And Ecuador wins and goes to 5. Venezuela would win and also be at 5. As of the way they have this, they have Peru below Colombia, even though Peru beat them. So I don't know if
maybe it's on goal difference.
Maybe it's if it is on goal differential, then Peru would be out in that scenario.
Okay.
Because they have a worse goal differential than Colombia.
Okay.
Yeah. So there is a world in which they're not out, but Ecuador would have to beat Brazil, which
seems unlikely.
You would say is unlikely, given Brazil hasn't lost.
Maybe Brazil will put out a B team. They'll play like Richarlison or something.
I know, but they should still.
Their B team.
Even if they tied Ecuador, it would be fine for Peru.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that game is on Sunday. It's at 2 p.m. So right after Belgium plays Portugal, switch on over to FS1, or actually looks like it's FS2.
Listen to Warren Barton.
No,
talk.
Just mute it. Please
listen to his English.
Just mute
Come
it.
on, Dan. This is what our shows say. You know, they say that. You know, is that a good impression?
No, I mean kind of. Yeah, I muted it. Just don't even bother. Or if you have the Spanish version, Spanish broadcast, definitely listen to that.
That way, you know, it's just some noise if you can't understand Spanish.
Yeah, and it's
better. Yeah, it's more. It's better. It's better than Warren Barton. I'll tell you that much.
Better than Warren Barton. Sorry,
I'd rather listen to like nails inside of a blender than.
Okay, here's the question, James. Who would you rather have?
Oh God.
Mateo, whatever his name is from ESPN. Was that Bonetti? The guy
the guy who can't decide what his accent is.
Yeah, that guy or Warren Barton.
You know what? I'm saying it. I'm gonna say it. I'd rather have this guy that doesn't know what his accent is.
Wow, I think
he speaks English. He speaks English. Warren Barton speaks the street English from Newcastle. How do you know?
I agree. When he says about Peru, the sentiment of his sentence and the grammatical structure of it both offended me. He said about Peru against Brazil, they was overawed. They was overawed by the occasion. They was overawed. That's not how we speak English. I'm sorry.
Do better. Be better.
And they practically invented English, and they still can't speak it right?
Yeah, apparently.
For our English grammar podcast, that'll be another podcast with our dad on it at another time.
We'll just be reacting to Warren Barton's English.
Yeah, that's what we should have. Yeah, a reaction video of him saying less less goals. And,
That's gonna be our second channel, Daily Cup of Football React.
but it's grammar reactions of our.
It's grammar reactions.
I mean, even him listening to this, I can hear him screaming when I said less goals. That was on purpose. I knew it's fewer, or lesser.
I didn't even catch it. Lesser. I believe it's lesser.
I have not been able to not catch it ever since he brought it up. But that means he's just a good teacher.
Yeah.
Anyway, for more grammar analysis, for all your syntax needs, this is your one-stop shop. But James, did we leave anything out? Was there anything else we needed to touch on? Glaringly.
I'm not in charge, so no.
U.S. women's national team roster came out for the Olympics, and it was pretty much everybody that you'd expect. Except for Mallory Pugh did not.
Then why are they bothering to play the games?
Because
wait, but hold on. Did you say Mallory Pugh didn't make the squad? If
there's
someone like Mallory Pugh would be the star player in every single other team in that whatever stupid Olympic tournament they're having.
Maybe not.
Hand over the gold. Hand over the gold right now. I don't even want to watch. I'm gonna boycott in protest because I think they should just hand it.
Hold on. I want to give you the group that the U.S. has.
Okay. Win, and win.
It actually starts about a month at the end of July when the Olympics. I'm excited for the Olympics. Here we go.
Soccer's not an Olympic sport, but whatever. That's another.
But doesn't mean the U.S. won't win it. And if we're gonna play soccer, we're gonna win it. If they played it out here in Marysville on this grass field I'm looking at,
they'd still win it. What do you mean?
We'll show up and we'll win it because we have to win it because we're the U.S. I am not able to find this group stage, James. But
it doesn't matter. All three teams could come on the field at once and we'd still win.
Here we go.
33 against 11.
Okay, James. Here we go. All right. Get ready. It looks like this is the same group we've always had.
Sweden.
Who else?
Think
of teams we've always played in group stages.
Group stages. I keep thinking Thailand, but there's no way they made it.
Thailand is not in this tournament.
What? Oh, I miss them so much. Oh,
Australia.
No. Oh, ew.
And
France? No.
France is not in this. France is not in this. New Zealand.
Oh. So that's a W and W and a W. All right, thanks for playing. See you next time, Sweden.
The group of death probably is Japan.
The group of death? No. The group of death is the one that we're in because we're going to kill all the other teams. We are death. We're coming for you, Sweden.
And with that, Sweden shaking in their boots, we will end it. But yeah, we'll be back tomorrow. We're going to try to see if we can get some guests for some time this weekend to talk about it because I know you people are tired of us. And I'm tired of myself, so I need someone else to talk.
I'm tired of you too.
Thanks, James. All right. Thank you for listening. James, thank you for joining me and taking the time to think about your answers and provide us such glittering analysis.
Yes, as always.
We always appreciate it. And I appreciate it.
Oh,
so,
wow.
And I know the listeners do.
Yes, they better.
So listen, with that, we're going to say good night. Good luck. Good night. I mean, it feels like night. I mean, it's the evening, depending on when you're listening. Okay. We'll talk to you again tomorrow.